My girlfriend posted about men's jealousy issues with female friendships before going on a weekend trip with her male best friend, so I cleared out her stuff, and she returned to find herself begging on her knees outside my door while I had already informed her mom and dad about the situation. Be me, 29-year-old Jake Thompson. This happened about 10 months ago. Finally ready to put it all out there? Buckle up, Anons. This isn't just a breakup story. It's a case study in dodging a nuke. Still can't believe I almost married this psycho. Before we get into the saga of Crazy Crystal, let me give you some background. Have been working as an electrician since I was 22. Started out pulling wire and learning the ropes under a guy named Rick. He smoked Marlboros indoors, treated every blown fuse like a war zone, worked my ass off, saved every dime. Now I run my own crew, 4 trucks, 5 full-time guys, solid contract base. The kind of word-of-mouth pipeline that keeps the phone ringing. Not bad for a dude who grew up in a single wide. Mom worked night shifts. Stepdad thought energy drinks were a food group. My crew's tight. Marcus can wire a panel blindfolded. Has Lowe's managers on speed dial. Joey's fresh out of trade school and hungry. Big Tony's nearly 52. Still outworks guys half his age. We handle everything from ceiling fans to full commercial builds. Inherited my granddad's place when I was 27. 3-bedroom ranch on 3 acres just outside of town. Nothing flashy, but it's clean, solid, and fully paid off. Gutted the garage myself. Turned it into a killer workspace. Snap-on toolbox that cost more than my first car. Built-in surround sound. Heavy bag in the corner. Beer fridge stocked with Gatorade and jerky because I don't drink. House was a fortress of peace. The property's got potential too. Big enough to expand if I ever want. Mature maple trees that actually cool the place in summer. Workshop out back where I rebuild motorcycle engines for fun. Neighbors are decent. Retired couple on one side who bring me cookies. Young family on the other who actually wave when they drive by. That's where I met Crystal. She was 26 when this started. Blonde. Gym body with that Pinterest aesthetic. Met her at my neighbor's Memorial Day barbecue. She showed up wearing white shorts, holding one of those sparkling waters that tastes like regret. Told me she worked in digital marketing. Turns out she was running the Instagram pages for sushi places, overpriced cafes that serve avocado toast on reclaimed wood. She talked like she was running marketing for Tesla. Brand engagement, client verticals, building the vibe. The whole thing was so try-hard it circled back to being funny. But hey, she was hot, charming. Had that confident boss girl energy. Guys either fall for or run from. I was in the first category, apparently. First few dates were actually solid. She seemed impressed that I owned my own business, asked good questions about the work, even laughed when I told her about some of the weird calls we get. One time I had to fish a kid's toy dinosaur out of a ceiling fan. Apparently, it was a flying lesson gone wrong. She thought that was hilarious. I figured opposites attract. I fix broken things with my hands. She stares at screens for a living. Yin and yang, right? Big mistake. Her friend group was straight up insufferable. Led by this girl, Brittany. Imagine if a security camera had a personality disorder. Brittany had 900 Instagram followers, acted like she was on a press tour, always filming herself opening Amazon boxes, like she was unboxing the Ark of the Covenant, constantly spouting off about manifesting success, cutting out negative energy, which translated to, don't question me while I self-destruct for likes. Every one of Crystal's friends had that same glazed-over influencer vibe. It was like the Avengers if all they assembled for was brunch. Vague posts about toxic energy. If Wi-Fi went out, they'd file for emotional disability. Livestream the breakdown. They couldn't have a conversation without trying to capture it. Everything was a photo shoot. I once made burgers for a basketball Sunday. Brittany arranged them into a heart shape before letting anyone eat. I wish I was joking. The worst part, they'd show up to my place like they owned it. Rearranging furniture for better lighting. Using my bathroom mirror for content. Leaving equipment plugged in all over the house. One time I came home, found 3 of them filming some dance routine in my living room. Didn't even ask permission. Now enter Derek, Crystal's ex from college. Real sensitive poet type. The kind of guy who writes long captions about emotional resilience. Still posts selfies from angles that scream, "Tell me I'm pretty." She claimed they were just friends. That tired line, but this dude was always hanging around like a mosquito that wouldn't die. Texted her whenever he had a bad day. Once caught him crying on her shoulder during a movie night. I kid you not. She said he just needed someone to talk to. She ate that up. The attention, the drama, being the safe place for some emotionally stunted ex who couldn't move on. Derek worked at some startup that sold meditation apps, something equally useless. Dude acted like he was in the sequel to Eat, Pray, Love. He looked like someone who got rejected from the Jedi Temple for excessive journaling. Once he wore a poncho to brunch. Spent 15 minutes explaining how oat milk changed his life. Meanwhile, I'm over here fixing power outages in February. So people can have lights again. Always wore those thin hipster beanies even in summer. Had opinions about coffee that lasted longer than most people's marriages. Dude probably spent more on skincare than I do on truck maintenance. My best friend Connor, guy's been in my corner since high school. Spotted it from the jump. Bro, he said that chick's got more red flags than a NASCAR race. That's his way of saying she's a walking HR violation wrapped in lip gloss. Connor doesn't say much, but when he does, it's gospel. I should have listened. There's a gut feeling every man gets. Not jealousy, just off. Like when your wire strippers slip. You know your fingers are about to get pinched. That's the feeling I ignored. So here's some background that's going to matter later. Crystal moved in with me about 13 months ago. Well, sort of. She brought all her stuff. Took over half my closet. Reorganized my kitchen like she was filming a damn HGTV pilot. But still kept her downtown apartment just in case. Her words said it was for storage. Maybe a little office space for her freelance clients, right? I didn't push it at the time. I figured whatever, we all need our space, right? Truth is, it was her escape hatch. Built-in insurance policy in case things didn't go her way. I was living like a man planning a life. She was living like someone playing a role. The apartment was this overpriced studio in the trendy part of downtown. $1,500 a month for 650 square feet. Exposed brick walls that probably had more character than she did. I helped her move the essential stuff to my place, which apparently included 16 throw pillows. Collection of candles that could stock a Bath and Body Works. Meanwhile, I'm paying the mortgage, utilities, groceries, basically funding her lifestyle while she keeps a backup plan downtown. Real partnership material right there. Now here's where it really started to rot. Crystal was obsessed. And I mean obsessed, with how our relationship looked online. Every date night had to be filmed like we were auditioning for The Bachelor. Anytime I made dinner, that plate better be camera ready. Built a new closet organizer for her. Got to stage a before and after reel. Fixed her car's alternator. That went straight into a "my man can fix anything" story, with some sappy caption. She'd spend 25 minutes staging a single photo of us watching TV. Move the couch, adjust the lighting. Change her outfit twice, then make me hold the same pose while she took 45 shots. All for a casual night-in post that got maybe 35 likes. To her followers, I was the perfect handyman boyfriend. The human Pinterest board. Meanwhile, in real life, I was starting to feel like a background prop in her curated existence. But here's the real kicker. She never, not once, posted anything about my actual work. You know, the thing that pays for everything. Nah, I'd finish a rough job. Haul gear back after 14 hours in 95-degree attics. Land a contract that brought in serious money in a week. She'd scroll past that like it was a mosquito. Last summer, I got called out for an emergency at this fancy hotel. Main electrical panel fried. No power to half the building. $100,000 in potential damage. Worked through the night with my crew. Saved their asses. They wrote me a check for $9,000 on the spot. Came home exhausted, but proud. Crystal was editing photos of her smoothie bowl. Her page was full of soy lattes, white desk aesthetics. Her saying crap like, "So blessed to work with such inspiring brands today." Meanwhile, I'm out here running payroll, ordering supplies, managing contractors, getting my hands dirty so she can film herself holding a laptop. For 4 hours at a co-working space. And guess what? She'd still say crap like, "We're both entrepreneurs, babe. Yeah, one of us wears steel toes. The other wears filters." Her friends, somehow even worse, Brittany, who always acted like she was 20 minutes late to a TED Talk, once asked me, dead serious, if I ever planned to do something more professional long-term. This was at my own damn dinner table. I was slicing up the steaks I'd grilled while she said it. Like, "Sorry, lady, but you sell crystals on Etsy. Talk to your phone for a living." Meanwhile, I employ 5 guys and pay quarterly taxes on serious money. I didn't say that out loud. Should have. Another time, this chick named Madison, who I'm pretty sure never worked a day in her life, suggested I should pivot into real estate because trades are so limiting. This was after I just finished telling them about expanding into commercial work. Real estate, Like I wanted to become another suit with a Kia and a business card. Anyway, things were still coasting. Crystal was locked in on the wedding planning like it was a military operation. Color-coded spreadsheets, Pinterest boards, mood lighting, the whole production. Her parents were footing the bill. Around $28,000 they'd apparently been saving since she was in braces. Venue, flowers, catering, a full open bar. Even though I don't drink, whatever. Her mom cried over table linens. I just stayed out of the way and kept writing checks. The proposal? That was last November. I saved up for months and dropped about $9,500 on a ring. White gold, 1.3 carat, certified. Not the biggest rock in the world, but it was clean and it sparkled like hell under Christmas lights. Her whole family went nuts. Her mom was posting boomerangs of her crying. Crystal was spinning around with her hand in the air. Like she just won. The price is right. She got about 650 likes on that post. I remember because she showed me every single comment. She looked like a Hallmark movie protagonist on a caffeine bender. The engagement party was peak Crystal. 60 people crammed into her parents' backyard. Professional photographer, custom cocktails with our initials, backdrop wall covered in fake flowers for photos. She changed outfits 4 times. I wore the same button down all night. Got lectured about not bringing energy to the celebration. After that, wedding mode hit turbo. Guest list ballooned. Registry started including $450 appliances we'd never use. We had a whole meeting about napkin textures. I nodded through all of it like a good fiancé. Then, right on cue, Derek started creeping back into the frame. Subtle at first. Likes and comments on her posts. Inside jokes in the captions, then texts. Then he started popping up at group events. Like a damn raccoon who figured out how to open the trash can lid. That's when things started to shift. April rolls around. Crystal comes home from work with that weird, fake, excited energy she always gets when she's about to drop something sketchy. You know the vibe? Overly cheerful, fake upbeat tone. Big smile that never reaches the eyes. The same tone she used when she accidentally spent $350 on candles from some influencer brand. I'm elbow deep in the breaker box at this point. Circuit breakers tripping because she tried to run the hairdryer. Space heater and coffee maker all at the same time again. So I'm half listening, covered in dust, trying not to short out the whole panel. "Babe," she starts, drawing it out like she's pitching a Disney vacation. "You know how I've been saying I want to get back into hiking?" I grunt, "Yeah, sure." She perks up like that was a yes. Well, Derek's organizing this camping trip next weekend. With his adventure club, it's supposed to be this amazing trail system. Like 4 hours north near the state park. With those cliffs I showed you on TikTok. That got my attention. I stopped working, wiped my hands on a rag, turned around slow. "Derek's organizing it?" I asked. She immediately launched into damage control mode. "It's not just him. There's like 10 people going, guys and girls. It's a group thing, casual. He invited me because I mentioned I wanted to be more outdoorsy this year." "Uh-huh. So your ex, the dude who still sniffs around your inbox like a lost dog, is hosting a co-ed sleepover in the middle of nowhere, and you think it's just a fitness goal?" I kept my voice flat. "Who exactly is going?" She starts rattling off names like she's reading off a Yelp review. Alyssa, Rebecca, Noah, some guy named Corey. I think Marcus is bringing his girlfriend. One guy named Kai. All strangers. Not a single name I recognized from the past 4 years. People I'd never met, never heard stories about, never seen in a single tagged photo. People she apparently knew well enough to drive into the woods with for 3 days, but not well enough to mention ever. The whole thing smelled worse than a blown transformer, so I push it. "Any of them I've met?" She freezes for half a beat. "No, but why does that matter? They're not my friends, they're Derek's friends. It's about hiking, not socializing." That right there, that condescending tone shift. Like I'm the weird one for asking follow-up questions. Classic deflection move. Let me get this straight. My fiancé wants to disappear into the woods overnight. With her ex and a bunch of strangers, and I'm supposed to just pat her on the back, wish her a fun time like she's going on a Target run. I gave her a look. "Crystal, I'm not comfortable with that." "Here it comes, boom, mask off." She rolls her eyes and goes straight into the script. "Wow, are you seriously trying to tell me who I can and can't hang out with? It's 2024, just because Derek and I used to date. Doesn't mean we can't be friends. You're acting like a controlling psycho." I'm standing there in work boots and a damp shirt. From being under the panel, now I'm being called controlling for having boundaries. I didn't yell, didn't get emotional. I kept it simple. Look, I said, it's not about trust. It's about respect. You want to go hiking for the day? Fine. I've got no problem with that. But overnight in a tent with your ex, that crosses a line. That's when she really lost it. Full volume. Accused me of policing her freedom. Said I had toxic views on female friendships. Claimed this was exactly the kind of fragile masculinity her friend Brittany warned her about. Started monologuing like she was on a podcast. I stood there watching her rant, just nodding slowly. I've worked with grown men who scream into electrical panels because a wire shorted. This was amateur hour. Then she stormed out of the kitchen, whipped out her phone, and called Brittany on speaker. I could hear her the second the call connected. Girl, you will not believe the crap I'm dealing with right now. That's how she spent the next hour, pacing through the living room, whining about how I was a jealous caveman, while I went back to fixing the breaker like a damn adult. That was the moment, I think, where the last little piece of illusion broke. Up until then, I'd been giving her the benefit of the doubt. But hearing her twist the whole thing, like I was some angry, possessive psycho, that's when I knew I wasn't dealing with a misunderstanding. I was dealing with someone who wanted all the perks of being in a relationship, with none of the accountability, and something in me started quietly preparing for war. Monday morning, I'm out in the garage doing what I usually do. When I need to reset my brain, organizing tools, socket sets, impact drivers, wire nuts, the whole lineup. Got the basketball game playing low on the radio. Air smelled like sawdust and WD-40. Peaceful. Then my phone buzzed. It's a text from Connor. Dude, you need to see Crystal's Instagram story right now. I wipe my hands off, open the app, and boom, there it is. Front row seat to my own execution. She posted a block of text with a black and white aesthetic background, like she's running a trauma recovery page. It read, "Some men still think they own women. They can't handle confident women with male friends. They call it boundaries. I call it control. Toxic masculinity is alive and well, and I won't be silenced." Oh, but that wasn't it. She also posted a picture of herself from the waist up, with some moody forest background filter. Captioned, "I'm done apologizing for needing freedom. Women aren't property, red flags, know your worth, healing vibes only." It was in her main feed, her story, reposted into this dumpster fire of a Facebook group called Women Supporting Women, which from what I could tell was basically Brittany's personal cult of personality. That post, it went full viral within their little circle. Over 70 comments in a few hours. The highlight reel? Brittany, "Girl, run, this is abuse waiting to happen." Some chick named Kelly. "Men like this are textbook narcissists. I dated one. They never change." One woman, never met her in my life, actually tagged another person and said, "This is the kind of guy you were warning me about." I wasn't just being thrown under the bus. I was being duct taped to the bumper, dragged through Instagram town square for the public to applaud. 4 years of fixing crap she broke, cooking dinner when she had client burnout, cleaning up after her dog, sitting through brunches with her idiot influencer friends, pretending to care about their kombucha sponsorships. And she repaid me by painting me as the villain, to 950 people who only knew me through her cropped photos and recycled captions. But weirdly, I didn't get mad. I didn't throw anything. I didn't pace. I just got still. Like when you're elbow deep in a junction box, trying to find a short, and suddenly it clicks. It's the GFCI outlet, not the main breaker. You stop guessing, you know. That's what this moment felt like. Clarity. This wasn't about a disagreement. This wasn't about boundaries. This was her laying the groundwork to make herself look like the victim when she eventually bailed. Maybe line up her next healing phase boyfriend. While she was at it, I screenshotted everything. Every post, every comment, every hashtag. Downloaded backups, printed a few just for fun. Then I made 3 calls. First call, Connor. "Remember what you said about red flags?" "Bro, I said she was a walking parade float." "Yeah, I need help moving some stuff." He didn't ask questions, just said, "Tell me when." Second call, David, my locksmith buddy. Old school guy, works out of his truck. Doesn't ask questions as long as you pay cash. "Hey man, can you rekey my place tomorrow? Got the tools in the truck already?" "Cool, front door, garage, keypad. And throw in a new deadbolt." "I'll throw in a 6-pack. You want it loud or quiet?" "Let's go quiet." Copy that. Third call, my cousin Marcus runs a small moving outfit. Good guy's discreet. "Hey man, you got any availability tomorrow morning?" "For what size job?" One person's worth. No furniture, just clothes, shoes, makeup, electronics, and some unnecessary kitchen crap. You want bubble wrap? Only for the ring light? He laughed. We'll be there at 8. By the time I hung up, everything was already in motion. I went inside, put my phone on, do not disturb, spent the rest of the evening making a list. Not an emotional one, not a revenge plan, just inventory. What was hers? What was mine? What needed to leave my house the second she did? Game on. Tuesday morning, Crystal left for work like it was just another day, still scrolling through her feed, still smiling like she hadn't just torched me in front of her little digital lynch mob. That story was still up. Same dramatic captions, same hollow empowerment quotes, same peanut gallery of her toxic crew, patting her on the back like she just survived a hostage situation. Soon as her car was out of the driveway, I pulled the trigger. 8:05 a.m. sharp. Connor pulled up in his Tacoma with 2 coffees. And that smirk he saves for when something's about to go hilariously sideways. Game day, he said, handing me a coffee. What's the play, coach? Full purge, I said. Clothes, makeup, electronics, everything in the guest bathroom. And if you find anything that says live, laugh, love, it's going in the burn pile. Marcus and his crew showed up 5 minutes later. 4 guys, 2 dollies, about 60 labeled boxes. His foreman was this quiet dude named Louis, who could disassemble an IKEA vanity faster than a divorce lawyer in Los Angeles. No questions, no judgment, just pro-level execution. We had a system, I pointed, they packed. Connor gave color commentary like it was an NFL broadcast. All right, folks, we're starting strong with the Closet Chaos package. A full spectrum of leggings, camera equipment, and 19 pairs of boots that all look identical. I went into the master bathroom and took one look at her shelf. Serums, sprays, skincare products. With ingredient lists longer than my tax return, I didn't even bother sorting. Dumped it all into a box labeled Lab, Lotion, and BS. Slapped a fragile sticker on it just to be ironic. Connor held up a jade face roller like it was evidence from a crime scene. Bro, what the hell is this thing? $65 placebo, I said. She used it twice. Sounds about right. By the time we hit the kitchen, it was just getting stupid. Spiralizers, avocado slicers, a freaking matcha whisk set. All brand new, half of it still had tags. Connor held up an ice cream maker like it was a murder weapon. Bro, when has this ever been used? Never, I said. It was part of her aesthetic baking era. Lasted 4 days, ended in a meltdown about lighting. Her stuff filled half the truck. No exaggeration. Piles of fast fashion, vanity junk, unused gadgets, about 45 decorative pillows. She once told me tie the room together. Newsflash, they tied together jack shit. Weirdest discovery. 4 identical phone chargers hidden in different rooms. Apparently, she'd been hoarding them like a damn prepper. Found equipment I didn't even know existed. Stuff stored in the coat closet. Another set under the guest bed. It was like archaeological evidence of her digital addiction. David the locksmith rolled up around noon. Cool as ever, no chit-chat, just went to work. Swapped out the front deadbolt. Added a heavy-duty one to the back. Reprogrammed the garage keypad to a code only I knew. Clean break? He asked. Cleaner than her makeup brushes, I said. By 2:45 p.m., the house was purged. Every trace of her was boxed, sealed, and loaded. All that remained was clean floors and quiet. Here's where it gets fun. Instead of dumping her stuff at her parents' place, or worse, confronting her face-to-face, I got tactical. Remember that storage apartment she kept downtown? The one she thought I didn't know she still used occasionally. To work in peace or do yoga without distractions. Yeah, I had a spare key she didn't know I made 8 months ago. Because I'm not an idiot. I drove the truck down myself. Parked in the alley, opened the place up. Still smelled like essential oils and overpriced candles. I took my time, arranged everything neatly in the living room. Clothes hung up, shoes lined along the wall. Her office chair had her laptop bag perfectly draped over it, like a showroom piece. The pillows, I stacked them in a perfect Instagram tier triangle. Right in the center of it all, I left a handwritten note. Since you need space to figure things out, here's all the space you need. The camping trip is yours, the house is mine. Lock the door behind me. Dropped the keys in the entry basket she used for crystals. Drove home, sat in my recliner, kicked my boots off, cracked a Gatorade, turned on SportsCenter like it was any other Tuesday. Except this time, I wasn't the one getting played. The fireworks were coming. And I had a front row seat. Crystal got home around 6:45. I was already planted in my recliner, feet up, watching SportsCenter. Had dinner on a paper plate, pulled pork leftovers, Zero stress. I heard her car in the gravel. Then the unmistakable clink of her key hitting the front door. Click, jiggle, nothing. A pause. Shuffle to the garage. Another key, another fail. Then about 35 seconds of confused silence. I imagine she was blinking like a raccoon caught in headlights. Then came the storm. Bang, bang, bang. What the hell is this? Open the door right now. I didn't move, didn't flinch. Kept my eyes on the TV like I was watching playoff highlights. Because my phone lit up on the armrest like a Vegas slot machine. Text 1. This isn't funny, let me in. Text 2. Are you insane? Text 3. You can't lock me out of my house. That one made me chuckle. Your house, lady, your name's not on the deed. You don't pay rent, you don't pay utilities. You kept your backup apartment for independence? Well, congrats, you're independent now. From 7:15 p.m. to 3:20 a.m., I was a one-man call center. There were 32 missed calls, not including the 6 unknown number ones she probably made on Brittany's phone trying to catch me slipping. Some of the voicemails were Academy Award-worthy. You're having a mental breakdown, and I'm worried for your safety. This is literally illegal. You're going to jail. Spoiler, I'm not. I'm calling the cops. She didn't. My dad's a lawyer and you're finished. He sells State Farm policies in a strip mall. When I get in there, you're going to regret this. Oh, sweetheart, I don't regret anything. At 11:12 p.m., Connor texted me with the update. Bro, she's back on Instagram. This shit's getting wild. Might want to pour a drink. I opened it up and yep, there it was. Another emotional monologue on her story. Some people literally lose their minds when you try to have independence. I'm scared, I'm shocked. Pray for me dealing with actual psychotic behavior right now. It had the full melodramatic package. Blurry selfie, red eyes. Soft indie music in the background. Hands together emoji for extra sympathy. The comments, a complete circus. Brittany, document everything for court, stay safe, babe. Kelly, this is legit domestic abuse, I'd be terrified. Someone named Shayla. He sounds unhinged. Get somewhere safe and call a women's advocate line. Some girl I've never met tagged another chick and commented, isn't this just like what happened with your ex? The best part, half these chicks giving relationship advice were either single, divorced, or dating guys who looked like they'd never changed a tire in their lives. Real credible sources. I screenshot all of it, every post, every comment, every emoji, just in case she got real bold later. Tried to rewrite history. Call me paranoid, I call it exhibit prep. Then I muted my notifications, tossed my phone on the nightstand and went to bed. Slept like a man who just decluttered his entire life in a single afternoon. No more staged avocado toast. No more explaining that I actually own the electrical company. Don't just work with wires. Just silence. And that silence, it sounded like freedom. Wednesday morning hits and my phone looks like it went through a war zone. 47 missed calls, 68 unread texts. Crystal must have spent the night rage texting from her apartment, bouncing between threats, guilt trips, inspirational quotes about healing from betrayal. But I wasn't done yet. See, this wedding wasn't just a social event for Crystal. For her parents, it was a full-on legacy move. Her mom had been planning it since Crystal grew boobs. They'd booked the venue 11 months in advance, picked out centerpieces before we'd finalized the guest list, even hired a drone guy for aerial footage. 170 guests, $28,000 already down. Save the dates printed in gold foil. But more importantly, they were decent people. Her parents had always treated me respectfully. Her dad even once pulled me aside and said, I'm glad she found someone grounded. I figured they deserved the truth. Before she spun her little I escaped an abuser narrative their way. So I pulled up to their place around 10:15 a.m. Sharp clothes, printed screenshots in a manila folder, mind like a courtroom litigator. They answered the door like normal. Hey, good to see you, Crystal's upstairs, her mom said. Actually, I need to talk to both of you first. We sat down at their kitchen table. Granite countertops, a plate of muffins no one touched. Whole lot of awkward silence as I laid out the documents. Like an FBI drop, screenshots, captions, comments, story archives, Facebook group rants. Her entire curated descent into digital victimhood, complete with timestamp receipts. The moment they started reading the posts aloud. Some men think they own women, he's trying to isolate me. Pray for me, he's unstable. I saw the cracks form. Her mom's eyes were glassy. Her dad just stared. Then he quietly asked, is this all real? It's her words, all public, nothing edited, I said. She didn't say any of this to us, her mom whispered. She didn't have to, I replied. She told everyone else. That's when I heard it. The sound of socked feet stomping down the stairs. Crystal. Apparently she'd been crashing at their place since I kicked her out, which made the timing even more poetic. She must have seen my car from the window. She came in swinging, eyes wild. Are you kidding me? You came to my parents' house to lie about me? Her voice cracked, not from sadness, but from losing the narrative. Her dad didn't even flinch, just held up a screenshot like a legal exhibit. Crystal, did you really post all this? And boom, the spiral began. Her defenses came out fast. I was controlling, I was toxic, I was twisting everything. She called me manipulative, said I snapped and kicked her out with no warning. Her dad kept asking for straight answers. She gave none. Every attempt to flip the script just made her look worse. The worst part, watching her mom try to hide her disappointment. That quiet kind of shame where a parent realizes their kid's not the victim, they're the problem. It ended with her dad standing up, walking into the other room, coming back with a manila envelope. Wedding contracts. We're canceling everything, he said flatly. I'd rather lose deposits than dignity. I nodded, stood up, and thanked them. Walked toward the door. That's when Crystal followed me outside, fully unhinged now that the audience was gone. You think you're so smart? You just ruined the best thing that ever happened to you. I was settling for you and now you're going to be alone forever, with your stupid little electrical business. I turned, looked her dead in the eye, and laughed. Crystal, I said, I own a house, I run a business. I've got a waiting list of clients. 5 guys who depend on me for work. I'm not alone, I'm focused. You? You're 26. Live in a 1-bedroom surrounded by camera equipment. Just lost your meal ticket because you couldn't resist playing victim for clout. Good luck with your nature therapy weekend. She didn't respond, just stood there breathing heavy. Blinking too fast, mascara already sliding. I got in my truck and drove off. 7 months later, she started texting again. At first, basic. Hey, can we talk? I miss you. Then paragraphs, apologies, excuses, long-winded therapy talk. She said she was in counseling now, learning about her toxic patterns, that she realized what she'd lost. Claimed the camping trip was nothing. Derek meant nothing. The drama was a mistake. Apparently, Derek ghosted her right after that weekend. Shocking, I know. And her friend group splintered fast. Brittany had a falling out with someone over a brand sponsorship. Half the crew unfollowed each other. The social media empire collapsed from inside like a cheap tent. Then last month, she showed up, pulled into my driveway in the same old car, sat there and parked for a full 25 minutes. I watched her from the window. No makeup, hoodie, hair, and a sad little bun. She looked like the ghost of the person she pretended to be online. She walked up and knocked. Can we talk? She asked quietly. I stepped outside but didn't invite her in. Make it quick. What followed was a performance. Apologies, tears, offers to delete social media. Cut off all her friends, go to couples counseling. Do whatever it takes. Said she never stopped loving me. Said I was the best man she'd ever known. I let her finish. Let the silence sit for a moment. Then I hit her with it. Crystal, I appreciate the apology, but you didn't just make a mistake. You showed me your character. When things got hard, you didn't talk to me. You broadcasted lies about me to the world. You tried to turn people against me and make yourself the victim. That's not miscommunication. That's who you are. She started sobbing, mascara down her cheeks, shaking, begging, and I kept my voice level. I need you to leave now. Don't come back. I went inside, locked the door, stood at the window. She sat in her car for 12 more minutes, then drove off. That was 4 weeks ago. Haven't heard from her since. Connor was right all along. She wanted a man she could film. I wanted a woman I could build with. My house is calm and peaceful now. Found out through a mutual friend that Crystal is back on dating apps. Doesn't post much anymore. Her account's private now. Brittany's off social media completely. Karma's got a funny little way of circling the block. I'm seeing someone new now. She's a baker and she makes the best donuts. No drama, no followers. She has a mortgage, a dog. Thinks the entire story is hilarious. We laugh about it over burgers on the deck. She wanted a hashtag-worthy love story. I gave her the reality check Instagram doesn't allow. To the people saying I should have communicated better, I communicated perfectly. I clearly stated my boundary, She chose to ignore it and publicly attack me instead. Sometimes the best communication is showing someone the door. Never let anyone disrespect you. No matter how good they look in yoga pants,